So, all right, got our German beer. Now let's make German food. Like I said, I'm heritage German, but then again, I'm a freaking mutt. So I mean, my heritage is anything European, basically. So we got some water on for the spaetzle. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna make that dough first because we need to refrigerate it if we can. So the spaetzle dough, it's kind of like a really thick pancake batter, if you would. So I don't always use recipes, but sometimes I do. This time we're gonna use a recipe. Here it is, right there. Oops, already ruined it. I was gonna say, let me put it here so you guys can see it. So there's the, you can't really see that. All right, whatever. There's the recipe. I'm gonna put it right there. It's kind of out of frame. Boom, now it's out of frame. Now I can read it and you don't have to look at it. All right, so we're gonna start by taking a bowl. Actually, I'm just gonna take, I don't need, we're just gonna take a container like that. We're gonna grab a scale, because as you know, whenever I can, I always use a scale. We're gonna set it to ounces. We're gonna take 1 egg. I'm grabbing a dummy. I'm gonna need that. Yeah, large later. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the spaetzle first, and then we're going to basically ice bath it. Ah, jeez, Louise. We're gonna ice bath it. Excuse me. God. And we're gonna use that same pot to make our cabbage, which takes about a half hour. So we're actually gonna just do the spaetzle right now, pending we can. Let me get a lid on that so it heats up a little faster. Jesus, that was loud. All right. We gotta blend the eggs. That's what blending the eggs looks like. Now we're gonna take 4 ounces of, actually, I'm sorry, 2.65 ounces of water. So this doesn't go that low, so we're gonna do 2.7. There we go. A little on the heavy side, it's fine. Tear, and now we're gonna do 4 ounces of flour, which is about a cup, just so you know. A little bit less than a cup. I believe a cup's about 4.5 ounces on average. Oh, I only wanted 4. I wasn't thinking. Put that out. There we go. There we go. Better. Okay. And then we need a pinch of salt and a pinch of nutmeg. Nutmeg is what makes it. That's what makes it taste the way that it does. It's that unique flavor. You know, German food gets a bit of a bad rep, although not as bad of a rep as English food, which I think is totally messed up. I think German food is way more bland than English food. You know, at least England has. Okay, now we're gonna mix it. At least England has an ocean, and like they can like have lobster and oysters and stuff. Like Germany's like basically, I'm pretty sure Germany's landlocked. Sweetie, is Germany landlocked? It is, right? There's no ocean. Yeah, but there's no ocean. I mean, they got like trout and shit. Like they got rivers and things like that, but they don't have like. But they ain't got no ocean, I don't think. Yeah, there's no. Are they on the? They're not on the Mediterranean. No, no way, no way. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So they do touch a little bit. Okay. So maybe northern Germany is a little bit more interesting. I mean, about as interesting as, what is it, Finland? So, I mean, and I didn't mean that as a jab at Finland. I actually meant that as, you know, they can have some pretty cool stuff up there. Like all foraged and all that. What was that guy's name? Mangus, whatever his name? That dude was cool. I like him. I can't remember his whole name, but I know his first name was Mangus. That's like such a badass. Anyway. I think England gets a bad rep. All right, so that's the Spaetzle batter. We're gonna wait for this to heat up. Once it's done, we're gonna season it because it is pasta. Ew. Clean this lid because apparently it hasn't been cleaned in a minute. Well, it's just I mean, used it in a minute. So let me do that real quick. That's kind of grody. I don't usually use lids because I don't really care how long something takes. You know what I would have done is I actually would have turned this on like an hour ago and just gone and played video games, played some Overwatch, and just come back when I'm ready. But I didn't. All right, so we got that going for that. Now let's work on our. It's called. Oof, you're gonna have to help me with that name. Weisskraut. So I know it is Suffolk cabbage, but I was looking it up today, and of course the Germans have a way for it. They actually call it blackkraut or something like that. And it's usually used as red cabbage, but I bought white cabbage because I thought it used white cabbage. So I learned something today myself. But we do have a recipe for it. I'm gonna follow it. Not really. I'm basically gonna follow the ingredients. So because I don't need a whole half head of cabbage for dinner tonight, I'm gonna do just a quarter head. Cut them in half, cut it in quarter, and I'm gonna cut out this root piece here. And this calls for it to be chopped. A lot of times I would usually slice it, but hey, you know, I'll take the win. Chopping it is way. I'm just cutting it into big pieces like this, right? And then I'm just gonna cut it into dices, big old dices, just like that. Okay. Ooh, I should also do the gastrique while we're at it. But I'm gonna prep all this stuff first. All right, so that's our kraut. That might actually not even be enough as it cooks down. See, now I'm second guessing myself. Maybe I do want a whole head of cabbage. Half a head, not a whole head. Do you like cabbage, buddy? I got a feeling you don't. Oh, me ate it. All right. Well, live and learn. I'm gonna stick with. I'm gonna stick with that amount. No. All right, I'm gonna go with my gut. My gut is half a cabbage. Now the recipe calls for a whole onion. I got half a red onion. It also calls for a white onion, but I bought red onions again, having gone to the store without a recipe because that's what I do. I thought I knew this recipe. Turns out I didn't. That's cool though. But this is a cabbage dish, which is why I'm doing twice as much. That once it cooks all the way down, it's not going to be enough. All right, so we're going to cut the root piece off of this onion. By the way, I just sharpened my knives, and they are super sharp. So we're going to just slice this up. I think that's what it calls for, right? Yeah, sliced onion. We're just going to slice these. Oh, you can't see this. We're just going to slice that up, just like that. Nice and sliced. Get rid of this guy. You don't need that. I don't need that anymore. Right, sliced onions on the corner here. All right. It calls for 1 clove of garlic, but I like garlic, so we're going to go with 2 cloves of garlic. It also doesn't call for bacon. That's what I had. The bacon. So, I was going to do the sausages in here, but how long is water's taking? I might just do cabbage in here and then do the sausages once the cabbage is done, because then I can just hold the cabbage hot. So I think that's what I'm going to do. See, best laid plans, right? So we got that going. Just garlic sliced here. I mean, you could always dice it sliced. All right, so the recipe called to not caramelize the garlic with the onions, but I always do that. I don't know what it is. It also calls. I forgot to melt more butter. Let me melt some butter here real quick. It also calls for oil, not butter, to be used, but come on, why wouldn't we use butter? Let me tamp this down a bit. All that butter goodness in there. All right, that way it melts nicely. Right there. All right. So we got that. Butter in here. Excuse me, but my dog just making sure the floor is nice and clean. So we're gonna use butter eventually. I cannot keep track of the chat. It pops up, it just tells you what song's playing. And if anybody wrote anything in there, it's just flooded with song shit. I cannot see anything. Alright. So we got our butter. Add that in. And now I get to get rid of this container. Nice. Which, by the way, I save these for canning because they're perfect for it. The narrow jar lids. Really. Let me just take the label off. Can. Alright, so we got some butter in here. We're going to throw our garlic and onion. We're going to caramelize it, so we don't want it too hot. Nice and slow. God, it smells good. What is whip? Garlic, onion, and butter. Oh, I was supposed to do the bacon first. Alright, so we're going to move this to one side. That's what I get. Yeah, I should have I almost wrote my own recipe for this, and then I didn't. And I was like, you know, let me just stick to the whatever they said. Well, this is what I get. This is what I get. I should have just done my own thing. That's what I get for trying to... I don't even know what I was trying to do. Keep the integrity of the recipe that I was already consciously going to change. Like, what the hell's wrong with me? Low blood sugar. We'll blame it on that. I didn't really eat today. Had to have a yogurt before that. Frickin' Mary. Anyway. Alright. So that's going to brown. This is going to render, and that's going to be what that is. Alright, let me wash this here real quick because we're going to cut some ready-to-eat food. Which reminds me, I forgot to pick parsley. I need parsley for our gas streak, but I don't need that until further down the road. So, no more salmonella here. Nice and clean. All right. Dry this guy off. Oh, hey-oh. Almost lost it. Alright. So we don't need to cut the apple quite yet. So to make a gastrique, it's really simple. It's a simple syrup, but instead of water, you use a vinegar. So for a simple syrup, take our half cup measure. We'll use the sugar first. I'm going to do half cup of sugar. Half cup of sugar. Then we're going to take a half cup, and in this instance, we're going to use apple cider vinegar because we're making an apple gastrique. You know, hence the apple cider vinegar, just kind of reinforces that apple flavor. And we're going to take a half a cup. This is so pretty basic. Let's let's grab our rubber spatula that we used earlier. Get that butter off. All right, the rest of the sugar in here. And then we're just going to stir this until it's, we don't constantly, just gonna, we're going to bring it like half. While that does that, while this, by the way, smells amazing, our water's heating up, we're going to cut apple. Probably don't need the whole apple. I do not need the whole apple. So we're just going to do half the apple. What am I going to do with the other half of the apple? I'm going to eat it. What else is there to do with it? Now, you could use a mandolin to do this if you wanted, or you can just do it by hand. We don't really have enough apple to use a mandolin, but I want to cut this really fine. And this is just because it's going to be aesthetically pleasing. You don't have to cut it necessarily as fine as I'm going to, but it's going to look so nice. And also, I don't want to use this end piece here, because we're looking for what's called base Brunoise. Brunoise is a very small dice. That being said, I don't want that part, because it is brown. We are not cooking this apple. This apple is going to be raw. So, it's going to give us a nice contrast to the cooked apple cider, sugar, with a nice fresh apple on top. And what this is also going to do is it's going to, because it's that sweet sour, it's going to cut through that fattiness of the sausage, Spaetzle, which, as you'll learn later on, is cooked in butter, and then also this bacon fatty. So just like the other apple, we're gonna, as with everything, whenever you're dicing, you always, the goal is to get it into a julienne size. Hey, what's going on? Jow 12.99. So now we're gonna just cut these into juliennes, just like this. This is about the size that I want right here. Okay, just like that. Oops, broke. Stack them up. Nice and small. Alright, and then bring them together, a little bundle of twigs, and we're just going to dice them nice and small. Just like that. And I'll show you the size that I'm looking for. So that is as big as I want them diced. Not that one. See? Nice and tiny. We're going to put them in this container here. And we're going to put some cold water in this container. Now you could put some lemon juice in here, which would be totally fine to keep it from browning. But honestly, just a little bit of cold water will be fine. So, got some cool water. Apples are in. We're boiling here, so I'm going to turn this guy down a bit because we want to turn it to a simmer. We don't want to cook it. Nicely. And we're going to just julienne the rest of these apples here. That one's... this is a precarious one. So... do that. There we go. Sometimes they get really unstable. Do whatever you need to be safe. You know, it's not worth cutting your finger for a brunoise apple. I mean, I guess if you're like in a Michelin-starred restaurant, the chef might feel differently, but I don't think so. I think he'd rather have a line present. So yeah, so like if like this high stack of apples is too high for you, you know, just take it down. Only do a couple at a time. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Point is to get it right and to do it safely. See, like that. They get that like thin. Sometimes they just don't want to cooperate. Also, having a super sharp knife is very helpful. If you have a dull-ass Cutco knife, or actually, Cutco's not even a great example, but like one of those garbage, what are they called, Faberwares? Yeah, you're not going to be able to do this. I don't care. Like, unless it's brand spanking new and like super sharp. Which, by the way, those edges do not hold at all. Nope. All right. Last bit of these apples. Bacon's getting there, but not quite. All right. There we go. So, apples are in water. When we need them, we'll just strain them right off from there. Good to go. So, the key with the gastrique is, like I said, you want to reduce it by about half. It's going to get kind of thick, which is basically what we're looking for. Going nicely. I'm just stirring it all in at this point. Like I said, it's going to caramelize. It's going to start to get brown. That's where we're going to build a ton of the flavor for this. However, Bayerisches weisskraut. Should have looked that up, like, on the Google. Like, you can spell whatever. All right, to escalate this, or I shouldn't say escalate, to quicken this process, we're going to add a little bit of sugar, but this is also going to add some nice sweetness to the cabbage, which can come off a little bitter sometimes. But you got to be careful when you add sugar to balance, because you don't want it, like, some things that you cook will still bitter. I used to cook with beer a lot, which I still do, but people would always think, like, well, if you use an IPA, which is super bitter, and you can just add sugar to it, and it won't taste bitter anymore. It's like, no, it just tastes like really sweet bitterness, and it's absolutely disgusting. So, you gotta be careful with that type of stuff. Alright, hang on, I'm gonna be right back. Okay. I'm back. I took a little sugar here. You can see it's already starting to caramelize. Oh, you know what I forgot to add? Which I want to add now while it's caramelizing. I'm going to add some caraway. The recipe calls for about 1 teaspoon. So that's going to be... Whoop, that's not a teaspoon. So we could measure it. Or it could be a baller and just do about like that. I'll add that caraway in. Oh my god, it smells so awesome. I don't know what the Germans are with their caraway, but I can say I approve. They love that spice, and in the right hands, and the proper condition, I gotta say, it's pretty amazing. This water is taking forever. I'm glad I decided to do the cabbage, otherwise we'd be cooking for 10 hours. So, let me grab the sausage. And while I do that, I'm going to put away cabbage. Which, you know, we really don't eat a lot of cabbage, but it's so cheap. I really should do more recipes with it. And it's filling, too, you know what I mean? Like, the only thing we ever do with cabbage is, like, coleslaw. Which is good, but how much coleslaw can you eat? Me? Not a lot. I like coleslaw, but I don't like it that much. Alright, so you see how it's all starting to brown real nicely. Bacon, I really should have rendered that first. You know, so we're not going to get some nice crispy bacon bits, but that's fine. We're going to get the nice cabbage. So it's really not a problem. Let's get this cooked just a little bit more. Really a better way to come out, which it already is, which just smells amazing. Like the bacon, caraway, onion, garlic. Oh my god, does it smell good. So we could have used a white onion, which is actually what it calls for. I don't know if I already mentioned that. Which would be great. But this red onion, it's going to add a nice little contrast to color, which I think is definitely awesome. So, alright. You get the sausages. Yeah. These are the leftover sausages from the other day. We're going to do knockwurst, 2 weisswursts, and a quarter kielbasa. And the rest of that is for my wife and I to eat tomorrow. Unless we decide to eat a whole thing of egg rolls again, which we did last night. And it was fantastic, and we felt like absolute garbage because of it. Don't judge us. In fact, you know what I might do? I might just... And by might, what I'm 100% going to do, I'm just going to sit here. Why not? Save the pan space. Save the time. Let's get these browned. Just a little bit. I'm just going to get some color. Then we're going to braise them with the cabbage. Right? Why not? Let's get crazy. Alright, so this is starting to reduce. They start to get bigger as it reduces. Obviously, it has more sugar in it. I'm wondering if... We'll see. You really don't need a lot of gastrique. You know, you really only need like a tablespoon or 2 per plate. So I'm probably okay. I'm probably okay. So we got the heat turned up here, which now I got to be careful with the browning stuff. But it's going to help for that. So I just kind of got these moving aside. The water's still way far away from where I need it. That's fine. What I'm going to do, while this does its thing, I'm going to pick some parsley for the gastrique so I don't have to do it later. I'll be right back. Okay, so I can smell the apple gastrique here now. And I can smell this is really starting to cook. Grab some tongs. There we go. We got some browning going on here. Just a little bit, you know, just want to get some Maillard, you know, effect on this bad Larry. And, go. Alright, so this is the parsley. I took it from our garden. We have a nice little herb garden out front, or out back. I am going to wash it, but we like Italian parsley as opposed to parsley. I think it just looks nicer. There's no taste difference, but I always feel like curly parsley has like a real 80s flair to it. You know, back then, like everybody, and still even to today, so people still do it. Oh, excuse me. My nose is itchy. And they'll just like their whole presentation will basically just be putting parsley on it, and it's very, very lame, as it were. But oh man, my nose. Why is it so itchy? All right, so we're just gonna pick them off. Stems, very simply. You have a little stem on there, it's fine. You don't need to get crazy with it. And if you're going to make a stock or something, or you're going to make a soup, these go really well in it. You can just throw them right in, and it'll add a nice little flavor. We use parsley stems in stock all the time. That's actually what you use. It's one of the key ingredients to a stock. All right, so this is, I can tell you right now, this onion needs to stop cooking. It's exactly where I want it. So I'm going to pull these sausages out. No, they're not brown, really. I'm going to pull them out here. So that way we can add the cabbage. Add that cabbage in. And start stirring it around. Now, apparently there's two different kinds of German cabbage, whatever, weisskraut. A bit, and the other one that doesn't. This is supposedly the one that doesn't, so lovely. So in an effort to keep with that, I'm not really going to brown this. I am going to add a cup of stock. If I can open it. This is our reduction, so this would be like my bouillon, right? And these are, I think they're 8 ounces, so I'm just going to fill it up. Say on it? Roughly 8 ounces, whatever. It's not super important. So we're adding that, and we're going to add a little bit of white wine vinegar. It's going to give it a nice tartness. About a tablespoon of that. Okay. I'm just going to stir that in. Add some salt. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to put our sausages back in. We're going to let this stuff braise for about a half hour. Sausage will not need that long to cook, but I think we'll be all right. Hopefully they won't turn to complete mush. You know what? We're going to find out together, folks, because I don't know. Oh, I got to grab my lid for this guy, though. All right, here we go. All right, so that's going to be that. All right, so we got our washed parsley. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a chiffonade. It's getting there. It's almost there. It's starting to look syrupy. We're going to do what's called a chiffonade. So I'm just going to take all the parsley. I'm just going to kind of try and bring it into like one little bunch. And as I bring it into a bunch, I'm just kind of rolling it. So it's like that. If you can, I don't know if you can see that. So it looks kind of like that. So it's like one little bunch of parsley. And now what I'm going to do with that parsley, here, I'll put this right here so y'all can see. So now what I'm going to do with that parsley is I'm just going to slice it very, very thin, and that's called a chiffonade. Now, this does not change the flavor of the parsley whatsoever. What it does do is it keeps it from browning because it's not cut as much. It's only cut one time, so it doesn't bruise it. Also, I'm using a super sharp knife. But what it also does is it makes it look fantastic. If you are one of those people who garnishes your plates with just parsley, I strongly suggest doing a chiffonade instead, and then you have a much nicer, awesome-looking way of garnishing your plate with parsley, rather than chopped parsley. So, all right, that was that. And yeah, there's our plate, and that will go into the gastrique. All right, so you can see how these bubbles here have gotten bigger, and they start to look like a syrup. This is probably good right here. Because I want to make sure it's nice and glossy and thick and not super thick, but like when we put it on the plate, it holds its form. That's really what I'm looking for. So let me put some of this stuff away here. Oops. Oh man, that smells so good. I think it was just my spice cabinet. It smelled good. I didn't think that was what I was cooking. Alright, we're almost there. We're almost there. So we got a half hour on this. So let me set a timer here. Not that I really need that one just cause. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So I'm gonna turn this down. Oh, because I want it on a low simmer. It's a pretty high simmer right now. Turn that down low. Basically at lowest temp possible. This needs another couple of minutes and that's done. And then, you know what we're gonna do? we're gonna play some Overwatch because this water is nowhere close to being hot. Looks like straight Spaetzle in the water, which is fine. What I am gonna do to make sure nothing gets cold, as I always do, just in case, I want the oven to be at a holding temperature. So I got it at 170, and that'll keep anything hot that I need to keep hot that I don't want to cool down while we do something. It's my insurance policy to make sure I don't serve cold food to my family, which I guess you don't have to do if it's just your family, but I don't know. Yeah, I got standards over here. So that though, doesn't that look so good? It already looks good. It's not even done. And what we're gonna do, we want to make sure a lot of this moisture cooks off. So they said you could like thicken it with corn. I just had this idea. Oh, I wish I had more of that frickin' Irish butter. We're gonna do what I always do whenever I finish the sauce. That's not again. We're gonna let this cook down until it's a nice thick glaze, and then we're gonna add butter to it. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I've never done this recipe before. I've only ever done Suffolk cabbage. This is not how you make cabbage. Kind of, but not really. And oh, dude, it's gonna be so incredible with that butter. I tell you now. Oh, I'm so excited about it. All right. So now we see here. So this is how you know when you're there. You see these big bubbles. You see how the bubbles are getting nice and big, and there's a lot of them, and they're kind of holding up more than like a regular boiling bubble. Now we know that we're good. So the key to a gastrique is to stop, because this is hot right now. So it's really, you can see it's really liquidy. When it cools down, it's going to become a lot less liquidy. So that's done. I'm actually going to move it. No, I'm not going to move it because we got a half hour. I'm going to take it off the heat though. Put it down over here. So it can cool down and get to where we want. Now, this is cooking for 20 minutes. This water isn't even anywhere close to boiling. So let's go back and play some Overwatch. We'll play a game or two. I got the monitor here. I can see the timer, right there. And I'll have that. And we'll be able to see where everything's at. And we should be good to go. So, all right. Let's go back, play some Overwatch. All right, guys. Let's finish dinner. Oh, did I leave my beer? Yeah. And the cabbage is done. All right. So. We're gonna let this reduce now. It's fully cooked. We're gonna let that reduce down until it's nice and thick and lovely. We have our water boiling. Okay, so for the Spaetzle, I'm gonna turn the water up high, off, to high. Now, when you're making Spaetzle, if you have a colander with large holes like this, you can use it instead. If you have a hotel pan, because you're in a restaurant, you can use that. I have neither. My colander has slits in it, or in very small holes, so it doesn't really work. Is this brand spanking new Spaetzle maker, and that's what I'm going to use. It's basically, as you can see, it's just a disc with holes, and you use a dough knife or this kind of dough knife that came with it. And we're going to see how it works out. I've made Spaetzle a couple different times in my life, so I'm not super concerned, but I've not done it with this thing. So I'm going to take the dough, and we're basically just going to put it right on top of the maker. Like I said, it's like a really thick pancake batter. It's not even that thick of a pancake batter. It's pancake batter. And then we're going to put it in here, and I could even just use this guy, honestly. You know what? I'm going to. Why dirty more things? I'm just gonna push them through this hole here. Just kind of work it in. Really is not hard. Although I am gonna use a towel because it's metal and it's starting to. Now we don't want the spaetzle to cook to this, so it is kind of important to work quickly. But you see how fast that was? I'm already almost done. And this just basically like drops little balls into the water. Takes a couple of minutes to cook. It's a super fast, fresh egg noodle too. I mean, like that's what I love about spaetzle. Not to mention frying part, which is amazing. Put all those in there. See, look at that. Fucking done already. Love it. Spaetzle. How easy was that? How freaking... This is why the Germans make better cars than the Americans. Because of spaetzle. Okay, I don't know about that. But I'm going to turn this up high because this needs to reduce. We have this. This needs to cook. It says until it's floating, which it's already doing. But I'm going to cook it for a couple more minutes. And then we're just going to put it in a... I guess, I can just wash this container here real quick. By the way, I now have a spaetzle maker. If you think for a second that I'm not making a ton of spaetzle in my life, you've got another damn thing coming. I love spaetzle so much. In fact, next week, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do braised beef cheeks with spaetzle. I just got to start thinking about that. Oh my god, so stoked. I love German shit. I love spaetzle. I love meats. It's the perfect time of year. Okay. Instead of lamenting and waxing about that, alright, so like I was saying before, see how thick that is? Like that's too thick. But what's gonna happen is I'm gonna drain our apples here. Like that. They're gonna go right. Because we have so much sugar in there, what's going to happen is it's going to secrete some liquid, and it's going to thin it out very beautifully. So I've got this in here, and you see it's nice and thick. But it's I'm telling you, within 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes, it's going to thin out. It's already thinning out. It didn't even take 10 minutes. It took like a minute. All right, now I'm going to put the parsley in. Gonna stir that in nicely. Look at this. Look at this. It's starting to thin out nicely. In fact, I probably could have cooked it a little bit more. It's gotten a little bit too thin. This is reducing to a nice flat consistency. This is done. I'm going to take out all this spaetzle. Just going to put it right in here. Typically, you would just put it into a ice bath. I don't think that's necessary, so we're just going to put it. I think that'll cut it. But you know what I'm going to do to make sure it does not stick? I'm going to put a little butter in it. I'm going to toss it with some butter. Because we're going to cook it in butter, so it really doesn't matter. That should be good. Alright. Ooh, fuck, that was hot. Woo. Sorry about that. Alright. Done. Done. Get rid of this water here. Right. And sink. Alright. Yeah, you see how fast that was? I mean, it's still... That took, what? 3 minutes to make a fresh pasta? Come on, guys. Come on. So you know what I'm going to do? Well, that... I don't want to dirty up the pan. I don't want to dirty up the pan. Alright. We're good here. We're good here. We're good. This is a little bit too thin now. See, look. Now it thinned out too much. I was all worried about it being too thick, and now it's too thin. So let's taste it. There's too much sugar on the bottom. All right. Mmm. Beautiful. It's like a savory caramel apple. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. This is done. Still in the heat. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take it off the heat. Just like that. Grab some butter. Some whole butter. Because we want this to emulsify. Spoons. Cut it into little cubes. So quarter and quarter. In there. We're going to stir this in just until this butter melts. We're going to try to make it so that it doesn't separate as much as we can. We're only going to get so good on that, though, to be quite frank. I really don't want to scrape my... Shake it on there. I don't know if that looks. Okay. Alright, where's my spoon? Sugar, but whatever. Let's see. Get more salt. I don't think it needs any more vinegar. I think it tastes pretty good. Ah, that's good. Alright. Get this hot. Get hot, I should say. Sausage is out. Okay. Put this right on here. I don't think this needs to go in the oven anymore. That's good. Let's just cover it back up. Fill the heat on the oven. Clean this up really quick here. It's still super hot, you know, obviously. It was just boiling and it's cast iron, so I'm just rinsing her out and just giving her a quick little brushing. Which, by the way, you never want to use soap on a cast iron in general, but I'm not even going to scrub this thing because it doesn't need it. But I am. I'm going to use a paper towel to wipe it out. I'm excited. It's falling around me. Cleaning up. Some butter, which, by the way, we're just going to get super hot. But because I don't want this thing to rust, which it'll do immediately if you don't get butter or fat all the way around it, I'm just doing this, just safety precaution. Can't have a rusty pan. All right. This out of here. We're going to start plating here pretty soon. Got our spoon. I don't need this anymore. I think I might have... I did not mess up the gastric. It's perfectly fine. Just, for some reason, it's sticking a bit on the bottom. But, and it's like really thin. Like it turned out a little odd, I'll be honest. It's fine. Okay. So we got that back. Move. Stay. Move this over here because I don't need it anymore. Grab one. Plate. Okay. We're gonna wait for that thing to start smoking. So let's add some more butter. You know when it's smoking. Oh, you're supposed to add parsley to these as well. Whatever. I accidentally added all the parsley to. That's pretty good stuff. I'm just gonna. Butter sometimes. Alright. Plenty of butter. Wait till it gets close to smoking. We're close, and it's smoking. All right. Add our Spaetzle. That's exactly what you want to hear. And we're going to brown this until it's got a nice brown outside. And then that's it. Yo, what's up? Spaetzle, yeah, that's what's up, dude. So, as much as I want to start this, I know I shouldn't yet. You can really smell the nutmeg coming out too when it cooks like this. I see it's not quite done. I need to... It started to stick a little bit. You can see right there that it was sticking, which it shouldn't even do in a cast iron, but it did. It's fine. All right, I'm gonna walk away and get a beer so that way I don't keep looking at this. All right, there we go. That's how I want it to look. Oh yeah, look at that brown goodness. Perfect. Mmm. Make your German grandparents proud. Look at that. I'm gonna let that brown just a little bit more, and then we're gonna take them out. We should probably be using a spatula, honestly. All right. I'm gonna call it good. I can smell that it's overcooking. All right. Dude, nothing sticks to a cast iron, and this shit is sticking hardcore. Alright. So let's get... God, that's hot. Plate this up here. Yeah, nothing that some hot water can't take care of. It's fine. Some lovely portioning too. Alright. We're gonna take our lovely cabbage. Move this off to the side. Here, I don't really want the center. Awesome cabbage here. So excited about this. By the way, there's so much liquid on this cabbage. I kind of want to add it, but I know it's going to mess up. I know where I'm going. Bacon. Lovely. Alright. So, tighten up this plating. Now, Rex and I are sharing 2 of these sausages. So, and the kielbasa. Oh, why am I using a spoon? I have spat entree. I'm so excited. All right. this sausage. Oh. We got that sausage, and we got that. So the Weisswurst, the Knockwurst, and the Polish kielbasa. Juice. I gotta make it look nice though. I can't just can't make it look like a slob with this. Now for the gastric favorite part. Get on top of everything. This sweet sour sauce. Set this thing apart. And I'm telling you, you really don't need a lot of it. But little bits all around. I mean, this kind of goes with that, like, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just where I'm from, but like we ate, what's it called, pork chops with like applesauce. It was kind of like a grown-up version. Look at that. I know it's rustic. It looks a little sloppy. Let me pull this camera up so you can see it. That's what we're talking about right there. That's the plate. Talking about right. Tell me that doesn't look. So, there you go. Quick, easy Spaetzle with braised cabbage and some amazing German sausages from our local. It looks a little sloppy, I know, but to me, I guess beauty's getting older. I think it looks like a rustic awesomeness. Try it out, super easy. And let me try it. Like, let me eat it on camera. I'm not eating it on camera. Maybe like a cock tease to y'all. All right, let's see here. So the Weisswurst, which I already know I really like. With gastric. Dude. That sweet and sour with that sausage. Oh, shut up. It's so good. See how it goes with the beer. Not fantastic. It's okay. Check out this cabbage. Fatty bacon. From the vinegar in it. Caraway. Really nice with that gas. That goes brilliantly with the beer. Those sour flavors match really nicely with the toastiness of the beer. All right. I've been waiting for all day. A little underseasoned, the Spaetzle, to be honest. But man, crunch. That nutmeg is like fresh pasta. It's like fresh pasta in a minute. It's so good with the sweet and sour gastric. Like, imagine if you like the sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's, then this is perfect for you. It's got that like awesome sweet and sour with a nice fried, crispy, and fattiness. It's just great. Because we didn't overcook it, we saw that nice snap on the skin. That was so good. What a treat. I haven't had this forever. beautiful thing about the gas gravy, because it's that sweet and sour, it just cuts through the fat so nice. It's what would be like a very sausage. So, right, it's already super edible on the sausage. It's so much like I just wanted to devour this plate. So, in the sense of that, that's the end of this stream. Thank you if you watched. I will definitely be doing another stream on Friday. I believe I'm doing an English style sausage. It's going to be amazing. I hope if it's anywhere near as good as this, I'm going to be over the moon. So thank you so much if you did tune in. I do appreciate it. Cheers, and I'll see you on Friday.